So in part one, we took a look at setting up a default Pro Tools session for mixing a live recording for broadcast. Well, last night we went to the venue, had dress rehearsal where we recorded some tracks that will probably make it into the final piece, but more importantly, we'll be able to use those tracks to begin setting up our individual channels to drop in the new tracks from opening night tonight. We're on a tight turnaround with this production. Today is Thursday, Christmas Eve is in 2 days, and we have to deliver this to radio by about noon on Saturday. So we are just over 48 hours from having delivered it. I took some behind the scenes footage. Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of this stuff happened at the venue last night. As you can see at front of house, they're using an Avid SC48 console, which offers FireWire in and out of up to 32 channels bidirectionally. Because of some outboard reverb that they're using in the live room, we're only able to utilize 28 tracks. We're using the Waves Tracks software here at the church to capture these 28 tracks of audio direct out from the front of house console over FireWire. It's quite a big production. They're using 2 drum kits this year, as well as a full band, 5 vocalists, and some other instrumentation in there as well. Let's jump into the Pro Tools session now and start bringing in some of these tracks and seeing what we captured. First thing we need to do is import some audio that we captured at dress rehearsal last night. And so we've got tracks raw, dress rehearsal. We have 2 passes of this, and the reason we recorded both is that we actually captured different tracks in each pass because we have more than the 28 channels that we can record discreetly. We actually have more than that that we need to capture. We have more sources than we have available tracks. So I'm just double checking to make sure that all of the channel names are going to be distinguishable here. I'm going to add everything here except Tim because he didn't actually talk last night. So there's all the tracks. We're going to import them here into our session and just put them in the clip list for now because we've got to figure out how in the world we want to organize some of this insanity. So let's take a look at our clip list. All right. So first thing let's do, just for this part of organization, let's make all of these tracks the same height over here so we can see what we're doing more clearly. So we have our first drum kit in line, and then we have our second drum kit. So I'm going to call it like that. 2 snare, 2 hat, 2 rack, 2 floor, 2 crashes, that'll be a stereo channel, 2 ride. And then we have bass, acoustic, electric, yeah, and then we have 3 stereo keyboards, which we can now label as, what did they call them? We've got a Nord, All right, let's go like this. I think we've got Nord 1, Nord 2, and MO8. Let's go with that. Vocalists, we have Adam's comp. Derek is not singing this year. Instead, we have Chad. Apparently, we already have a Chad. Why don't I see him? Oh, because he's hidden. Okay, that'll be helpful. There's Chad, and Chad comp. So I can get rid of these 2 tracks. So we have Adam, Chad, Nikki, Leslie, and Becca. So we'll just label these so we don't get confused later. And I'm going to put them in the order that I'm anticipating these tracks will be in, and we can always move these around later. So I know that we'll have Adam. I think it'll be Adam, Chad, Nikki, Leslie, and Becca. The other important tracks that are missing from here, we record a click track with all of these because we're going to have to be using multiple tracks from different takes and putting them together. So therefore, we're going to need click in order to line those up. I'm also going to need to email someone at the church here in a minute and get a loop. There's a couple of loops for these songs. All right, so let's go all the way to the bottom here. Let's add 2 new mono audio tracks. We're just going to call these click 1, click 2. Scroll back to the top. Now, let's go ahead and start dropping in stuff from our first pass, the stuff we recorded during the first take today. We'll go with kick, snare top, snare bottom, hat, rack tom. I'm just dragging these over and putting them in the beginning of each clip. Overheads or underheads in our case. Right. Now I can't put the second drum kit in because we didn't track it until the second time through, and I need to have some other stuff in place to time align that. So we'll skip that one for now. Go up here and get our bass guitar. Get our acoustic guitar. Get our electric guitars. Okay. So let's move on down here now to vocals. We'll pull in Adam, Chad, Nikki, Leslie, Becca, and then our click track, like that. Now let me double check and make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, room. I am missing. I should put the audience mics in. I should point out that we do have room mics that are kind of important, especially during the applause time, and just to add. I don't use them a lot because the room there is relatively it's relatively acoustically transparent, and so it's not a huge deal, but I definitely need it for the applause and stuff. But we work on that later towards the end of this whole mix process. So I definitely need to clear off some automation, don't I? I see a lot of automation on these channels. definitely going to want to get rid of. This is from last year. Remember, I shouldn't have, when I saved this template, I should have, I opened last year's session and then saved a mixed template. I should have gotten rid of all of the, I shouldn't have transferred all the automation with it. Because there's obviously no reason for me to use any of the automated stuff from last year. The other thing I should double check is things like panning. Sometimes with the electric guitars especially. I'll do pan automations. I don't see any of that happening in this case. Do see a little bit down here. And then let's just double check mutes. Make sure I'm not muting any channels. I promise we are just seconds away here from hearing something. All right. All right. So let's get all this back to showing volume again. I mean, showing waveform. All right. Hey, audio. All right. Let's do a couple things straight away. Let's mute the clicks, obviously. Mute all of the subgroups except the drum subgroup. I want to start there. I just want to hear what we got going on. These waveforms will ultimately populate. So now we just kind of start, I'm going to mute all the toms for a minute until I get a chance to go in and work on them all. Just trying to listen to some of the characteristics. Some of the instruments. It would be very helpful if these waveforms would populate. Part of what we're hearing in here also is there's another drum kit that's playing at the same time. So yeah, that's part of what we're hearing. I'm going to wait until these waveforms populate. So we're going to pause this, come back to this. I can't do anything until I can see what waveforms we're working with. Whew, all right, so it's finally done generating waveforms. So we should do we can take a look at a few things here. I'm going to have to bring that other drum kit in sooner than I really wanted to. I like to start with drums and bass first. I kind of treat them as the same subset of instruments, and I think it's important to get them lined up and in some sort of order. So one of the first things I want to check, since we're using two snare mics, which is not uncommon, I want to just look at them real quick before we start working on the snare for their phase characteristics. Typically what we'll do, assuming that the mic placement was pretty close, I'll actually slide one of these one way or another, just in terms of, very, very small amount of space. They should be opposite phase, if you think about it, because the drumstick hitting down on the top head of the drum with the top drum mic, it's seeing that sound wave as an inverse. The drum head is going away from the mic, whereas the bottom mic, the drum head is coming to it. So that's the reason we see this kind of inverse phase relationship that's happening here. I can kind of see already just in this waveform of this one hit. Whoops. Come back one hit. There it is. We're just slightly out of alignment. That just simply means that either the diaphragm of the bottom mic was slightly further hit. So I'm literally going to slide the top snare head over just a skosh so that the waveforms are relatively polar, opposite one another. And then what we'll do, the little trick for adding just a teeny little bit of, the trick for phase canceling a snare drum is just to add on, I use these time adjuster plugins, and the reason these were in here is we were time aligning them from the last year's Christmas to the crash cymbal mics. So obviously all of these all of these microphones pick up the snare drum. They show up in the drum or in the crash cymbal mics, and so one way that we can align that also is bring the crash cymbals up here, so that we're in the same general proximity to the snare drum. And here's a good snare hit, for instance. And then we zoom way in on the snare drum. So we get an idea of when the snare hit happened. All right, so here was the underline. Here was the kind of the center of the peak of this. And then I set this to samples. And then I select from here to the center of that one. In our case, this year, it appears, we'll verify that. We'll look at the underside center. Yeah, I'm going to go with, approximately 54 samples this year is how much I'm going to delay the snare hits of the close mics of the snare drum. And the reason I'm doing this is so that the sound from the snare drum on those close mics is coming through at exactly the same time that it's coming through on the crash cymbals. And that helps to provide us with better phase coherency with the snare drum. All right, let's get back to listening to some of this stuff and see how we're doing on the drum kit. We got a lot of work to do. This is the overwhelming part for me. This is when we first start. I don't want to listen to the drum kit here at the beginning in this Drummer Boy song because he's playing with another drummer very nearby. It's going to be easier, I think, to hear if we move on to another song in this. So let's kill the bass again. Kill the drum smack track for just a minute until we let's go up here to where he's really playing on the kit a little bit. Right now I'm working on kick and snare pretty much exclusively. I'm liking the kick. It's got nice bottom to it. That's just the snare top mic. I also can use this time delay plugin to add some gain. As you can see, the snare top mic here we didn't have a whole lot coming in, which is, I would rather err on that side than clipping. So I'm just going to work on EQ with just the top mic for a minute. Here's the bottom. Okay, let's go back. That's the bottom snare mic here. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an EQ plugin. I want to make sure I don't want to have anything down here. Let's put it in with the top as well. I'm going to listen to see if it's better polarity normal or reversed. It's a lot harder to tell when you've rolled off as much of the bottom end. You would normally hear that phase problem with the bottom. I want to do something to the drum plate, the reverb that I'm hearing. You hear it's very, very... I need to thin it out a little bit. There's a lot of bottom end that makes the snare. Well, these crash cymbal mics are actually like on the crash cymbal, clamped underneath. I just want to get a general feel for the whole drum kit. That is not at all the plugin that I wanted. There we see what the guitars are doing. That's always exciting. We have two mics on the lead guitar. There's the rhythm guitar. Wowza. That's going to need... Oh, some of this, I see. Some of this is from last year. This is not the plugin that I want.
frozen like a stone. Light is breaking in a stable for a throne, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore. Unto us a child is born, the King of kings and Lord of lords, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. If I were a wise man, forever, forevermore, forevermore. Angelize the one who made the starry skies.
Okay, I got to see about bringing in all the other drum kit, and I'm gonna have to do this song by song. This is going to be extremely complicated. So let me scroll. Let me grab. Okay, let me grab both of the clicks. I'm gonna use the click as my guide for how to move these tracks around. So I'm gonna bring it up here right under where the second drum kit's gonna go. Because we had to do the drum kit in a separate pass. A separate set of rehearsal time because we didn't. I didn't have enough channels at the church to track everything at one time. So I'm just going to bring each of these in. And then what we'll do is we'll slide them and align them based on the click track marker for the first song. This should work. I'm going to have to do this for every every song though individually. It's kind of a pain, but what are you going to do? All right, so this will be underhead, left and right, 2, 2, and then ride 2, ride 3. I don't know. All right, so let's zoom in and think about what the best. I thought we stopped and started this thing. Oh, this is the restart. That's right. Okay. So the smart way to do this is going to be to grab all of these tracks that we just brought in. Whoops. Why can I not? Oh, there we go. Select them all, including the click, and then I'm going to go down here and zoom in on the 2 click tracks. I'm just going to pick a distinguishable area, like right in here. And then I'm just going to slide all these tracks and align them. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this until we get in the ballpark, and then we'll zoom, way, way in. And get them exactly phase accurate. There's probably a better way to do this. Somebody out there is going to be like, you dummy, you should have just done this other thing, which is, if you know a way, tell me. I'm always looking to improve the workflow, as it were. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this cleaned up, and then we'll move on to the next segment of this video, which will be on the actual mix, when we start actually working on instruments and blending things, and things will get fun in the next episode.